going here.
Okay.
Hi, this is Keith Weaver with the Top Executive Strategy Podcast, where CEOs, COs, and business owners share strategies for better success. This is 6 questions in 9 minutes because the best strategies are concise business advice. And so we're going to get right to it with our guest today. And question number 1, in a few sentences, could you tell us who you are and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Nathan Adams. I own a company called redT Homes, and we do real estate. In-house, we have a team that goes out and hunts for properties. We call that our acquisitions team. We have architecture on staff. We have 3 architects. We have property management, we have real estate development, and we have a real estate brokerage as well. So we kind of run the gamut of covering all services when it comes to real estate. And frankly, for our own stuff, we actually have construction in-house as well.
So pretty wide breadth of things that you do, and also been very successful growing and developing. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Great to have you on. So with all of that, question number 2, what's the best thing about being a business leader?
The best thing about being a business leader is you're responsible for other people. In addition to being responsible for other people, you get to be a direct part of their career growth. You get to see my employees have gotten married, they've had children. You get to be a part of all of that, and you get to be the person that's responsible for them bringing home a paycheck, and next year making more money, and the year after that making more money. And to me, that some people call that pressure, but I think it's great pressure. It's pressure that I love to be a part of.
So if they get married and have kids, does that make you a grandpa? Or
my own children are 5, so I hope not.
So question number 3, I hear from other business leaders that a lot of times their people strategy can be more time consuming, difficult than the actual business strategy in running their business. Your thoughts?
No doubt. I feel like that is one of the hardest things, is the people strategy. I mean, we have 3 different generations of people. We have the newest generation, we have millennials, we have Gen Xers, and then some of our clients and colleagues are baby boomers. And you have 3 or 4 very different mentalities across those generations. And you have to change and adapt as you're talking to each individual person, and you have to get those different personalities to work together. And then within the generations, you have different ideas as to how things should be done. And I personally believe when you nail the people end of it, it really makes the rest of your business substantially easier.
Very well said. I like that answer. All right. Question number 4. What strategy would you like to share with other business leaders?
Yeah, so as I had just said, the people end of it is incredibly important. When it was just me, it was easy. I only had to take care of myself. When my company grew to 10 people, I interacted with those people on a regular basis, and it was easy. I know who they were. I knew what they were doing. They knew me on a personal level. It was easy to have a good company culture. We went through a pretty aggressive growth period where we went from somewhere around 12 people to north of 25 people. And that happened in a matter of 6 to 9 months. And you could see the culture at our company suffer, and things changed. And it wasn't what it had been from the day I started by myself to where I'd grown it to 10 to 12 people. A strategy that I stole from somebody else, part of a group called 12 Mavens. And 12 Mavens, if you don't know what that is, it's very similar to Vistage, which a lot of people know. And I go and I meet monthly with other CEOs, and I find out what they're doing and what's successful in their business. And something that really resonated with me was a company out of Jacksonville, Florida, that they targeted being the best places to work. Company was rated by, I believe it's probably the Jacksonville Business Journal, and in Denver we have the same thing here, the Business Journal. That noise on my end or on your end?
Yeah, unfortunately, here at the office complex, they're apparently doing the lawn mowing, and I don't know why they're lawn mowing in November, but so there's a lawnmower that's coming through the window, the sounds of the lawnmower and stuff. Yeah. So
You gotta go out there and find out what their secret sauce is, Keith. Why do you mow the grass when there's snow on it?
Exactly.
I'll jump back in.
They want to
No,
get paid, I guess. So,
no big deal.
so
I'll
we
keep
can,
rolling
so
here.
I'm wondering, maybe if, I mean, it's still recording, but we can snip out all of this kind of a thing, but we
I
can
think if I
possibly
just pick,
wait a couple minutes and see if they finish up pretty quick, or
yeah, and I know right where I left off for you. I can pick back up, and I think you can probably put the two together.
yeah, I mean, I don't want to ruin it with the background noise and everything, and I know it's seems pretty loud on my end, and I don't know about on your end, but
As I was talking, I could hear it. If you'd like, you could even go back and ask that question again, and I'm happy to start the answer from
okay.
scratch.
Yeah, we could do question number 4 again. I
That's the meat of your podcast. So
yeah, exactly.
you know.
Well, and again, I guess they just want to make money. I don't know why they would be doing it in November, but
Who knows?
I mean, if we were in Florida or maybe California, I could see that, but
Yeah.
so
Yeah, whenever you're ready, just let me know. We'll pick back up with question 4.
it sounds like they're starting to move away to another area. So maybe if we just give it another minute or so, but
Okay.
hopefully they'll keep moving along to the other side of the business complex and stuff. So
Sounds good. Works just fine for me.
So you were talking about your people and stuff. I'm curious, have you ever heard of a company called Predictive Index with what you've done?
I have, and we use something incredibly similar called Culture Index.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Very, very similar.
So yeah, I've heard of that. We do Predictive Index with a lot of our clients. We're certified consultants and partners with them. And I mean, there are other ones out there, but yeah, huge value to a lot of businesses in building the culture and building, their whole people strategy, if you will. So.
Yeah. You're spot on with that. I mean, that has made a big difference in our hiring, in our management, and unfortunately, when it has to happen, terminations. But it helps identify on the termination end of things. It helps identify problems where
Right.
more often than not we can correct them before it becomes a termination. But when we identify them, attempt to correct them, and can't get it done, it is what it is.
Well, and what made me think about it in particular is when you were talking about, you know, the employees feeling that they've been heard and those kind of things. And that's one of the big areas that we see of companies before they use it and afterwards is the huge difference in surveys as far as how involved the employees feel that the owners are and how heard their voices are. Because after you start using those different tools, they really feel like, hey, you care about me and I'm being heard. My opinion's being heard. So it makes a big difference. But all right, they are now, I believe, on the other side of the building. So yeah, if you don't mind, we can just kind of go back and jump in with question number 4. And if you don't mind re-answering that one, and we'll just cut out all this 10 minutes in between.
Yep,
So,
I'll start from scratch for you. Happy to do it.
all right. So question number 4 then, what strategy would you like to share with other business leaders today?
Yeah, so Keith, I would call it a best places to work strategy. And I'll go back in time, give you a little history. When it was me by myself, I only had myself to take care of. As my company grew and we got upwards of 10, even 12 employees, I still had a really good handle on it. I knew them all very well, knew them personally, interacted with them on a daily basis. And, culture at 5 people, even up to 10 to 12 people was great. We hit a growth spurt in our business where we went from roughly 12 people to north of 25 people. And we did that in a very short period of time. I'd say between 6 and 9 months. And that kind of growth with an amazing culture took us from an amazing culture to a culture in need of some improvement and in need of some work. I've been part of an organization called the 12 Mavens, and it's very similar to Vistage. I think a lot of people will identify with Vistage more so than they will with 12 Mavens. But on a monthly basis, I sit with other CEOs and network. I get additional training. In addition to that, we kind of talk through problems and ways to improve in our own business. Um, this isn't a new idea for me. This is something I stole from a company in Jacksonville, Florida. Um, they basically went from having a so-so culture to, applying for and succeeding at becoming a best places to work in Jacksonville, Florida. So, and they changed their company culture. So we did the same thing here. And the first round of surveys were in February. We made the decision in January, so we had zero ramp up time. This past January, January of 2020, we did it again, and we were substantially closer to hitting the top three. I think we will in 2021. But what happened when we communicated to our staff that it's a really important goal of ours to be a best places to work in the city of Denver. We teeter between a small and a medium-sized business, and the last year we were rated as small, but we were at the top end of small, which makes it more challenging. It's easy when you're 10 people versus when you're 24, 25 people. I think we'll jump into the medium size this coming year, and I think we'll make the top three. But what's happened is our employees now know that we're soliciting feedback on a regular basis. And when we listen to that feedback and we make changes, they know that their voice is being heard. And when they have an open forum to provide feedback and they see changes happening, those changes are a positive. They make us a better company to work at. In addition to that, it goes an incredibly long way when your employees feel that they're heard and that their voice is important and that you care about them and you want to make things better for them. So we went from this big growth spurt to a culture that wasn't what it had been previously. And now that this will be our third survey this coming January. And I really think that the changes that we've made have been very well received. Our employees are more engaged than they ever have been before. And when you have people that like coming to work, they like the people that they work with, they like the culture that they're a part of, they perform at a higher level. And I don't know of a business owner out there that isn't looking for better performance out of their employees. And when it's a win-win and your employees are happier and they perform better, we're covering both ends of the spectrum where the ownership side and the employee side are happier than they were previously. So to me, that's a phenomenal strategy to use for any company that's out there saying, hey, things are okay here, but they're not great. They could be substantially better. This is a great way to go about it. And there's more to it, but you asked me to keep my answer fairly brief. So I'd be happy to elaborate for anybody out there that's curious to know more and some of what we've done.
But that's, well, first of all, congratulations on, the success and the growth and all of that. But, like you said, I think there's a lot of companies that we all know that have started and had great success only to kind of fizzle and die out quickly thereafter. And I think a lot of that is because they don't maintain that culture. They don't maintain the things that help them grow. And so, another year or two, and then they disappear, it's kind of that flash in the pan. And so, great strategy. And obviously you're continuing to grow and you're doing it right. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So question number 5, what other successful business owners or CEOs like yourself would you like to maybe do a shout out to, or you think would be good on the podcast?
Yeah, that's a good question, Keith. And I'm going to circle back with you on that. I obviously want to see this one get published and kind of see how it looks. And like most business owners, I have a lot of respect for my colleagues and their time. And I'm absolutely going to circle back and connect you with a few people here once we wrap things up.
No problem. That sounds good. Well, we'll look forward to having those conversations as well. So question number 6, then, just kind of a final fun question. Tell me about one of your favorite past bosses.
Yeah, so I've been in business on my own for 15 years. So I've been my own boss for 15 years. But I did work in the corporate world prior to that. And I was a sales guy. I worked in sales for in the hotel business. And I had a boss named Michael Mustafa. He was a great guy. He genuinely cared about all of his people. He got to know who you were. And as I had success, I took more liberties and freedoms with when I came into the office and when I left the office. And I asked him one day, I said, "Hey, do you know when I come in and do you know when I leave?" And he said to me, "I don't care. As long as you're performing, getting your job done, attending the meetings that you need to attend to, and you keep your sales numbers where you're at, I could care less when you come in or when you leave." And to have a boss that was managing the outcome and the results versus trying to manage the day-to-day activities um, was freedom that allowed me as a salesperson to really excel and succeed and made me feel good about working there. I might be in the office for just 6 hours, but that didn't mean I worked 6 hours that day. I might have worked 2 or 3 hours from home as well. But having that freedom and flexibility was huge.
That's a great story. Well, I wish we had more time, but we are out of time. And before we leave, can you tell people how they can maybe link up with you or connect with you?
Sure. I don't mind fielding phone calls or emails. My email address is Nathan, Nathan, at redthomes.com. That's REDT, homes, plural.com. I'll share my cell phone. I'm not afraid to receive a text or a phone call, 720-255-4101.
Again, great. Thanks for being on and taking the time to be on. Value your time and I think some great valuable information that you've passed on to people today. And this is Keith Weaver with the Top Executive Strategy podcast. And for more insights, you can follow us on LinkedIn at Weaver Business Coaching, or you can listen to us on your favorite podcast platform. And we wish you the best success.
Thanks, Keith.